In the darkest days of war, when most of Europe had already fallen, one man stood before his nation and said, "We will never surrender." His name was Winston Churchill, and his words would help change the course of World War II. The year was 1940. Across Europe, one army seemed unstoppable. Led by Adolf Hitler, Nazi Germany had conquered nation after nation. Poland had fallen, Norway had fallen, Belgium had fallen. And then came the shocking collapse of France. Europe was crumbling. And suddenly the United Kingdom stood alone. Many believed defeat was inevitable. Many believed peace with Hitler was the only option left. But one man refused to believe that. Britain turned to a leader many had doubted for years. Winston Churchill. He was older, stubborn, and often controversial. But he had something others did not. An unbreakable belief that Britain could survive. While some leaders quietly discussed surrender, Churchill refused. To him, surrender was not just defeat, it was the end of freedom. On June 4th, 1940, Churchill stood before Parliament. The situation was desperate. British soldiers had just escaped disaster during the evacuation at Dunkirk. The army had survived, but most of its weapons had been left behind. The country was exposed. Many people feared invasion was coming. Most leaders would have tried to soften the truth. But Churchill did something different. He told the nation exactly how dangerous the moment was, and then he delivered words that would echo through history. "We shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender." The speech electrified the nation. Fear began to turn into determination. People who believed defeat was certain now believed survival was possible. Soon after, the war reached the skies above Britain. German bombers crossed the English Channel every day. Cities burned, homes were destroyed, and air raid sirens screamed through the night. This would become known as the Battle of Britain. But young pilots of the Royal Air Force rose to defend their homeland, outnumbered, outgunned, but determined. They fought day after day in the skies above their country. Churchill watched these pilots risk everything. And once again he spoke words that history would remember. Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few. Against all expectations, Britain survived. The invasion never came, and slowly, the tide of the war began to turn. Years later, Nazi Germany would be defeated, but in the darkest hour, when the future seemed hopeless, it was courage and words that kept a nation standing. History often turns not on weapon, but on courage. And sometimes, the fate of millions depends on a single voice that refuses to surrender.